Okay, let's have a look. Find out exactly how far that header was. Wait, no, so explain this. You're about to take the free kick, but you don't. You step away. That's not 50 yards.
Well, listen, the day I did it, it was what, 20 yards? And as I keep telling the story, it gets longer and longer.
It's 16 and a half yards.
And actually now it's 52 yards. Since we started.
How fresh in the memory is that goal?
Absolutely, as if it was yesterday. It was a huge game for me. The previous year I had a lot of injury problems. So that was the start of my comeback.
Might have been also different. We saw in the clip, you went over to take the free kick initially before Barnsley's like, scram.
Yeah, he was very nice about it.
What did he say?
Told me to go on the edge of the box and I'll whip it in, don't worry about it. So I did as I was told and you see how it worked out.
Instinct, huh?
Absolutely.
Super header. What can we expect from this game? How does the Arsenal defence, which they've changed a bit of late because Kolasinac not been playing, Maitland-Niles has been playing over there, how do they cope with Salah, Firmino, Coutinho and Mane?
I'm not sure they do. Not too many defences have been able to. I think the fact that this is away from home for Liverpool causes Arsenal a problem.
Yeah.
You know, at home they want to go forward, they want to be the team on the ball, and that just plays into Liverpool's pace on the counter attack. So I'm looking forward to a good game, but I'm also looking forward to a Liverpool victory.
Okay, shoe on the other foot. The Liverpool defence at home has been very good. Away, it's been pretty porous.
Right.
How does the Liverpool defence cope with Ozil, Sanchez, Lacazette?
Well, I think Liverpool defensively have to make sure. Well, listen, the one thing that they don't do well is what they have to do, and that is defend behind the ball. When Liverpool are going forward, they don't shut off the holes in behind them, and that's why they get caught. Defensively, one-on-one, they all struggle to do it properly. And so if they can defend behind the ball better and fill the holes, then they won't have to get left one-on-one. And that'll negate anything that Arsenal throw at them.
Really looking forward to this one. Arsenal against Liverpool on Friday. And a wee exclusive for you on ESPN FC. Since we sat down to do this preview, it's got further out, that header. It's now 55 yards. Quite incredible. Goodness knows how far it'll be tomorrow. Let's start with Arsenal against Liverpool. Go on then.
What do you think?
I know what I'm going for, but I want to give you the floor.
I know what I'm going for.
Tell me why.
I just think Arsenal, although they're on a decent run, to me still look vulnerable defensively.
Yep.
And going forward, there's no question Liverpool are far better than Arsenal going forward. So, listen, you could argue Liverpool can be dodgy defensively. So, I'm going for Liverpool.
Friday night
Makes
football.
sense.
One to look forward to. Everton-Chelsea's a good one. Everton back in form.
Yeah, I'm going to go Chelsea. Everton have been getting results, and if you look at the scoreline, some of them are not exactly what the score tells you. You know, scoring 3 and 4 goals.
Yeah, and they went to goal down to Swansea, of course.
Yeah, and they're doing well. They're getting results, but I don't think they're playing the type of football that the scoreline suggests they are. So I can't go against Chelsea.
Yeah, I'm going with them as well. Brighton and Watford. That was a surprise result for Watford last week at home.
How anyone can actually go for a win for either of these teams, I'm not having it. None of them know how to win right now.
So you're sticking for a draw?
It has to be a draw.
Okay, Richarlison's he's a great player, but much better on his travels this season. I think that'll be enough for Watford.
Unfortunately, the other 10 have not been good.
Okay, I'm going to do something here without you even having to say something. Okay, so let's move on. Because unless you want to say Bournemouth, then fine. Southampton against Huddersfield.
Southampton, sitting in the mid-table, but in my brain, they're struggling.
There's a lot going on in there.
I mean, you look at the table and you think, well, they're okay, they're mid-table, that's where they want to... But again, I don't see them winning. Huddersfield, a couple of wins in the last 3.
Done all right.
I'm going to go Huddersfield. Southampton,
Okay. I
I can't trust them, and
No.
I don't want to watch them either.
Doubtful 2 fullbacks. Looks like Cedric's out. Bertrand as well. But I think they'll have enough to beat Huddersfield. Okay, let's see what our next 5 have in store. What's happening to Mark Hughes in Stoke?
Well, I'll tell you what, if they don't win this game...
He's gone.
All right, let me put it a different way. He has to win this game, and he can't afford to lose it.
Does he win this game?
I think he does.
Okay.
I think no question, will have to get his team motivated. West Bromwich Albion, still average under Pardew, so this is a must-win for Mark Hughes. So I'm going to go with a win.
Confidence is a big thing in football. Stoke don't have any and West Brom don't have much. I think I'll sit in the fence with the draw for that one. Swansea against Palace. There's a lot of these games that are vital for teams at the foot of the table. They're flying right now, Palace.
How's Swansea going to win? I mean, I don't see too much going forward. Defensively, they can be got at. And Crystal Palace right now, they look confident. I mean, the 3-0 win away at Leicester for them last time out, they'll be absolutely flying. Swansea, I mean, they're scared to death. I can only see a Crystal Palace victory.
I just think the pace they have coming forward. Okay, we're not bothering about that one.
No.
I'm glad, because you were asked by the producer to keep it quick and you went 40 seconds on the last one, so they'll appreciate us being quick with that one. Burnley Spurs.
Tough one. This is a tough one.
It is, because their home form's fantastic.
Correct. Don't give anything away. Spurs, although they lost to Manchester City, they looked extremely average. I mean, there have been games this season where teams have done a bit against City. They've looked as though they maybe could get something. Tottenham at no stage looked as though they were getting anything. So I'm going to say this is a draw. I don't see Tottenham losing it, but I don't see them winning it either.
I just think this season the better teams have played better on their travels, because the lesser teams, no disrespect to Leicester, you're kind of forced to come out a little bit more rather than sit. So again, I'm going to go for an away win. Manchester United at Leicester. But it wouldn't surprise me, any of the results in this one. What do you think?
It's hard to back against United and Mourinho. Leicester, really resurgent, really looking good. Mahrez looks as though he's back to somewhat near his best. It's definitely a possible banana skin for United.
Without a doubt.
But I just can't stick my neck out and say they're not going to win it, because if there's one thing the United have done this year is they've managed to win.
Does that hurt you to say that as a Liverpool
No,
fan?
not at all.
Not at all?
No.
So you know what you're getting for your birthday if most of these are wrong? A new crystal ball. You need to start saving.
I don't have an old one.
You'll soon find out if you do.
Arsene Wenger has said in his pre-match press conference that Ozil and Sanchez are going nowhere. There are reports, though, suggesting that Ozil has told friends that he'd rather go to Manchester United and work with Jose again rather than Barcelona. But all of this is hearsay, because a manager is never going to come out and say a player's leaving.
Well, Arsene Wenger's got no power. He's got no say in the matter. So the only thing he can control is he going to have Mesut Ozil and Alexis Sanchez in January from then till the end of the season? Or does Arsenal Football Club allow them to leave on a free, which is absolutely ludicrous, because if you're trying to buy those two players in the open market, you're looking at between, 150 and 175 million pounds. So what do you do if you're Arsene Wenger and Arsenal Football Club? They've got themselves in a dire situation, because even if they sell them in January, Arsenal fans are going to be fuming. Because what you're going to get, 10 million apiece?
Exactly.
And they're going to go to their rivals?
The frustration, though, Don, is that we've been talking about this for so long. The club have been aware, they know when a contract expires, and obviously now from January, because he's a free agent at the end of the season, he can start talking to clubs in January. How have they let themselves get into this position?
Well, it all probably stemmed from, or started probably 18 months ago, because once you let the likes of Mesut Ozil and Alexis Sanchez go into the last year and then the last 6 months of the contract, you're basically saying we can't keep hold of the players, because it's gone very, very quiet of late, and that means there's either been no talks between the agents and Arsene Wenger and Arsenal staff, or they've completely broken down, and I would suggest the latter.
So, as a player, as a former player yourself, you're a great player like Ozil. I know he has his, I know he has his days, his off days. He had a great game against Manchester United, but where is the best destination for him right now? I mean, Arsenal, they're 7th in the table, 19 points off the top.
It's not Arsenal.
You can see where it's not
Arsenal.
Okay.
No.
Is Manchester United any better?
Oh yes, I think under Jose, who's worked with before, I think it would excite Mesut Ozil. What I'm understanding is they're very, very tight, Mesut Ozil and Alexis Sanchez. I've heard this from inside the dressing room.
Right.
They're very, very close. So wherever they go, it might just be together.
Oh.
Or if you want to put a spanner in the works, and you think, well, if Mesut Ozil goes to Manchester United, still nearly together. If Alexis Sanchez goes to Man City, living quite close to each other.
That's not nearly together.
Well,
that's completely apart.
Well, it's not, because they're seeing
hanging out. Okay.
Exactly, they're seeing each other at 2:30 every single afternoon for a coffee.
Is that right?
Listen, I don't know where they're going to end up. I think for Mesut Ozil, I think a different league will suit him.
Right. Okay.
I think somewhere like La Liga, I think suits him more than the Premier League. I think it's too quick for him. I don't think there's any surprise in the likes of, going off piece slightly, the likes of Virgil van Dijk, the likes of Riyad Mahrez, the likes of Alexis Sanchez and Mesut Ozil are all playing well because the window's opening in the next couple of weeks.
Exactly.
That's why they're playing well. I honestly think when I look at Mesut Ozil, as a player and as a technician, he's superb and he's brilliant. I just think in a fast league like the Premier League, it's too quick and too strong for him.
Yeah, okay. We love these little insights from you, Don. Thanks very much. All the very latest right here at ESPN FC.
Live on the Transfer Rater. Stevie Nicol, let's start with Mesut Ozil. Staying or going?
I would suggest he has to stay. There's no way Arsenal can let both him and Alexis Sanchez go. I think they'll figure something out. So I think Ozil stays. I'm going to say this is a hit.
Okay.
Correct.
Yep. What about Olivier Giroud? He seems to score when he comes off the bench, doesn't when he starts. Is he better off away from Arsenal? Does he need a fresh challenge?
If he wants to play, he has to leave Arsenal. And I do believe that he wants to play. I think if he has a decent World Cup, that's certainly going to help his case because he will be with France. So he absolutely, this is a hit as well. Giroud has to go. He can't stay at Arsenal.
Now, with Jurgen Klopp preferring Roberto Firmino as his kind of main striker, Daniel Sturridge's chances at Liverpool are few and far between. If he goes, is Valencia an option?
I don't see why not. I don't think it's quite as physical in La Liga. Certainly his problems seem to be of a physical nature, picking up injuries pretty frequently and easily. So I think a move to Valencia would suit him. He certainly again has to go. Why he's still at Liverpool, I don't know. Personally, I thought he would move in the last couple of transfer windows. So I'm going to say this is another hit.
3 for 3.
We'll leave at the end of the season, and Valencia would be a good destination.
So in the last 12 to 18 months, we had the Donnarumma's staying. No, he's going, and he was getting hammered. And then he was staying again, and now he's been linked with PSG, who've got Kevin Trapp, and their top number one choice is Alphonse Areola. I would suggest Donnarumma's an upgrade on them, but would he leave AC Milan?
Yes, I think he would. And if you're PSG, then you go and get him. It doesn't look like Milan are going to be in the Champions League next season. That means that it would only be 50 million only, but that's peanuts to PSG. I can see this happening, and I think Donnarumma, well, it's a 50 million buyout. I think he'll go, and there's nothing AC Milan can do. This is another hit.
4 for 4.
4 for 4.
Now, are we getting 5 from 5? Because this is similar to Giroud and Sturridge. Good player, but not getting a chance at the club he is at. Would Newcastle be a good fit for Michy Batshuayi?
I think he would be a great fit for Newcastle. I'm not so sure it would be a great fit for Batshuayi. I think he will be setting his heights on a team a little more prestigious, shall we say.
Okay. So
listen, Newcastle might not be in the Premier League next season.
True.
Because this is not going to. If he's going to move, it's not going to be till next year, and Newcastle might not even be in the Premier League. So
your side or mine? Hit or miss?
It's on your side.
We don't get 5 out of 5, but 4 out of 5 is pretty good going.
Unusual.
Indeed. That's today's transfer rumour rater.
Believes that Manchester City have petrol.
And ideas.
And that's a dangerous combination,
Is he
especially with a match.
Is he suggesting that he's got none?
What is he going on about?
He's picking a weird time. City are the talk of the town, probably in Europe, but certainly in England. Pep's the talk of the town. The players are. The winning streak is. Can they keep it going? Everything. This is a guy who is completely out of touch. Out of touch with managing this club, and that's evident for their recent, particularly league positions. He's out of touch with, I think, the game in some sense, and how it's evolving and financially. And it lacks class. It lacks class. Everybody was patting him in the back, and he was lapping up that invincible season, which, by the way, was great, Ross. Now, I don't think Man City fans are overly worried. Their players, maybe not even as a coach, overly worried about whether they go the season unbeaten or not. I think they'd rather have a Champions League, which, by the way, Arsenal have never won. I think they would rather have huge success domestically and in Europe than have the unbeaten run. So I think it really lacks class.
Where will they go with this in the end? I mean, it's a little bit of a dig. You know, he's trying to be clever in the presses or whatever it is.
But, you know, but I heard some people on the radio say, oh, you know, he'll be regretting those comments. I kind of think those are premeditated. I kind of think he knows what he's going to say. It's so frustrating. I mean, here's a guy here's a club, right? When they were in that super season of 2004, they had 3 of the highest earners, top earners in the Premier League, right? Thierry Henry, Patrick Vieira, and Dennis Bergkamp. Oh, the top earners. So they weren't exactly, you know, feeding on scraps. And by the way, Arsenal have got petrol. They just won't go to the gas station and fill it up. They just won't go. They're allergic. They're allergic to go down and fill the pump. They've got it. It's sat there. What are they waiting? The oil price changing or something? They've got the wherewithal to spend the money, and for whatever reason, they don't want to do it. I think it just lacks class because everybody's enjoying. I think most people are enjoying this Man City run, but I think 1 or 2 are jealous, and I think the Arsenal manager, who, by the way, as we sit here, is below Burnley and 19 points off the top, is talking about petrol and ideas. It's time to go.
He's still proud of what he's done, though, isn't he? That's where it comes
Well, I understandably get that he's proud of what he achieved between 1996 and 2004 in particular. Those 8 years were amazing. And these last 12, 13 years, by their standards, with the odd FA Cup, has been mediocre by their standards.
Okay, well, we'll see if those standards change or whether the warning light in the car is still flashing, spluttering along on fumes as the petrol goes to other places.
A complete football team. They are able to do everything. They can switch and change styles. I said against us, it happened quite often that they played a lot of long balls with Giroud, but he cannot play, and that will change a few things maybe. But they are able to create. They are able to play football. They have a strong side. Whoever will play. On the one hand side, we have to defend them in the best way we can, and on the other hand side, of course, it means if there are any gaps, any spaces we can use, we have to. I don't know if there will be a lot of goals again, but we go there to perform. We go there to get as much as we can, and we know that's difficult, but in this moment, I feel as well that it's possible, and I think we should try. And then we defend not that good we played at Sevilla and he did not well, and there were really people didn't hesitate to say that's why we need a new left back, and I think wow, if people would have said the same about you after a bad game, that would have been really funny. So thank God I or we here make the
We played with quality and spirit and the pace in the first half, and overall, for the 90 minutes, we looked very solid defensively. We were not tested at the back too much, tested but not in danger. And in the second half, we lost a little bit the pace we played with in the first half, and were less creative, and then couldn't finish the game off. So it was down to not make a mistake. And overall, I think it's a positive night for us, apart from the fact that we lost Olivier Giroud. Francis Coquelin looks less problematic, but Giroud looks to be out for Friday night.
Firing a lot of managers at the moment. For a club that was once quite a steady ship, the ins and outs are quite scary. Would Tony Pulis want to go there? The bottom of the league, I think they look a bit of a dead rubber. And I don't think they're going to spend big in January. So I'm not sure Pulis would want that job, to be honest. Might be wrong.
Would you want Pulis if you're Swansea?
If I want to stay up, yes. But, you know, you kind of look at the way they talk about, certainly, the way they want to play the game. That doesn't involve anything Tony Pulis does. So That would be the reason I don't think that they'll go near Tony Pulis. I mean, are they totally going to completely overhaul and change the way they want to play? Now, they should if they want to stay up, because I think he maybe could keep them up. But will they do it? I don't think they will.
What I would say is that perhaps look at the example of Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace a month ago was left for dead. They had no chance. And now they make a management change, and then you get a couple of results in a row, and now Crystal Palace is flying. And it's not necessarily what's going to happen with Swansea, but if the goal is to stay up, then you make the change, and you make a splash with whatever manager you bring in. You need a reaction from these players, and you need it now.
Trouble
you need
is,
it yesterday, and it's just not happening.
Palace have got better players.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
it.
Swansea they just haven't got the players. I mean, it's like I don't know if it's just the money. I think managers will want the job. But in terms of reputation, it's a risk for some of the more experienced ones. And of course, Sam Allardyce ain't about anymore.
He gone.
Well, there you are.
Now then, after Alabama, this was the second most eagerly awaited poll of the week. Shaka, your power rankings.
Right, a couple of movers into down 2 after they drew twice. One of those in the cup that they went through. Manchester United lost to City, of course, so they dropped. Juventus go up, even though they picked up a point, just a draw. That kind of speaks to how everybody just above them have done. Sporting are in after making a decent fist of what's been happening in Portugal. Real Madrid are in not because they're setting La Liga alight, but it looks like they're going to be crowned World Club champions.
Ooh,
so give them some love.
Big call,
because you don't play anybody. Al Jazeera.
Well, they're World Club champions.
Al Jazeera.
Gremio may have something to say about that yet.
They may find themselves in the top 10 if they do so.
Wait a minute. So you are suggesting that they may win, and because they may win, then they're in.
They are finalists in the World Club Championships.
You don't even know the name of the tournament,
I do. World Club Championships.
Shaka always
What do you
claims
mean the finalists? They only started at the semi-final stage.
They're in the final.
So they should.
Well, I'm just saying they're in the final. They're finalists. I don't know what else to say.
Well, they got to buy into the final, basically.
Club World Cup.
Club World Cup Championship.
He always claims European competition is weighted a little heavily when it comes to this.
World Club Championship. World Club Championship Cup thing.
See you next time.
Fraudulent.
The halfway point of the Premier League season, so we thought we'd give Gab Marcotti the opportunity to give us his best 11, not of this campaign, but just in total when it comes to Premier League players in their respective positions. This is what he has gone for, ladies and gentlemen. Gab, do you want to justify it first?
Yeah, well, I'm going to kind of shield myself because I know which players I think I'll get criticized for the most, I imagine. I think Eric Bailly's a phenomenal defender, a one-on-one defender. If I could have had Azpilicueta at right back, I probably would have, but otherwise I'll take Walker. Mohamed Salah has been so good, I think it's difficult to leave him out, but you can certainly make a case for other players. And finally, I know I'll get stick for Pogba from some, but I think the guy is really, 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 really talented and athletic, and it's just very good.
I'm not picking up a lot of hostility here.
Well, I would. One of the things I think Alderweireld.
Yep.
That would help.
Potentially over Stones.
How do you leave David Silva out of that team?
Who would you have him in there in place of?
Well, I would have David right now. I would have David Silva over Pogba.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right now, and I guess that's what we're talking about. So I mean, David Silva is having a tremendous season. So he even Salah, take out Salah, put David Silva, have him playing on the outside, and then just drift in underneath the strikers. Keep Pogba, his athleticism. I like my team.
Yeah, that's it. I'm glad you do.
I like my team.
Shaq?
I agree with Gab 100%.
Wow.
Oh,
look at that. I like that. Okay, so let's just focus in now. You've got all those players lined up against the wall for your team. Who's your first pick? Who are you picking first?
That team.
Yes. Well, look, we got all the Premier League players, if you like, lined
I thought
up
you
against
just
the wall.
meant just Gab's team.
No, well, you can choose if there's someone in the team that you don't particularly...
One player.
One player. Who is your first pick?
My first pick.
Your first draft pick.
Right.
Wow.
This is pausing. I'm pausing.
Yeah.
De Bruyne.
De Bruyne?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I don't know why to think so hard about it. I got De Bruyne.
Because I tell you what, I was thinking David Silva. because he's been so influential. That's why I was
hat-trick.
Yeah?
Kevin De Bruyne. Yeah.
See, I just
Right
like the
now.
way that was.
Well, that's all right. Gab, quickly.
You thought about it the most. That's what it is.
I might go for Conte simply because there's other good attacking midfielders out there. Conte's pretty unique in my opinion.
Go
I
contrary.
didn't ever think of it because, as Ali said, David Silva is just year in, year out, week in, week out. It's just
To hear some love as well.
Oh, you'd have
Here's
to
my
play it?
second pick.
Oh, yeah, of course he would.
Thank you, Shaq.
All right, then. Thank you, boys.
At the time of year when changes and rotation are at a plenty. So I'm going to take you back 12 months to try and help you out and maybe to try and second guess what your favourite managers are going to be doing this festive period. Now, this graphic here, I want to take you back 12 months to a period of maybe 2 games in 3 or 4 days. So these are the lineup changes made by these respective managers. These are the only managers still in charge of the same team they're in charge of now. What does that all mean? Basically, if you've got Chelsea players, Liverpool players, Burnley players, or Stoke players, there's more chance that they'll play both games than if you've got players from Manchester City, Manchester United, Arsenal, Bournemouth, or Spurs. Again, it's something that you can look back on. It might not be something that happens this time. Now, we have got some games coming up quick and fast. So this is a combined 11 from game weeks 19 and 20. Let's have a look at it. I like West Ham's fixtures coming up, so we've gone with 2 in the back 4. The goalkeeper Adrian and Masuaku, who's playing like a left winger right now. I love both of them. Otamendi is a goal-scoring centre-back and he's already going up in price rapidly. If you want a cheap way into the Chelsea back line, Christensen at Stamford Bridge is certainly worthwhile. Eden Hazard, a lot of people are getting rid of him. They've got some good fixtures coming up, Chelsea. Just a little bit of patience required there. Remember, Paul Pogba is back. He's at 7.9 million. His price has dropped and it's locked for a couple of weeks. Get him in your lineup if you fancy him. And Raheem Sterling, I think he's the Manchester City midfielder to own. I love De Bruyne, don't we all? But he's expensive. Raheem Sterling around 8.5 million. That'll do for him. Coutinho and Zaha make up the midfield as well. And up front, well, Morata's had these issues with injury. He's back now. Excuse the pun. Will he start? Hopefully he will. And Firmino at Liverpool. I would suggest maybe having 2 of the 4 Liverpool players. Most of you have probably got Salah, Coutinho, Firmino, Mane. Take your pick. Stevie Nichol's got them all. He doesn't realise you can only have 3 in your team. Enjoy your festive break.
He has a basic stamina, you know. He's like the rest of the team. He was a bit less sharp than on Wednesday night, but overall, what was very positive. He didn't weaken physically at all, and still had this presence and this dribble going forward. And he did a good defensive job as well. Overall, I must say it's positive that he can produce 2 games of that quality in 3 days. Let's not forget that Wednesday night. Saturday afternoon is 2.5 days, you know, and so that's the most difficult. You know, he can deliver it, and it's important for him that he takes the risk to do what he did, because usually he's a guy 99% of the time in these positions he controls the ball and gives it to somebody else. So I'm happy that he took the gamble to finish, and happy as well that he scored a very important goal.
Are you, Alison, confident of pinning Arsenal down to a new contract?
I'm confident, yes. What does that mean? I don't know, but we had no petrol, but ideas. They have petrol and ideas, so that makes it even more efficient, you know. And overall, yes, at the moment they are like that. And so everybody expects projects that they will last. Why not? It can happen, but there's still a long way to go. Now they have resources to yes, they have money and quality. It's what I wanted to say, you know, and in their management, in their players, and they have everything that is needed to be successful, and it's still not easy, you know. You still have to respect that achievement. Never been a problem.